2 and 6. Oh, I thought I had started this video a while ago. I'm just starting it now. Sorry, guys. Catch up with us. We've listed our pairs. We got our feelings hurt because nobody's here but about a handful. So, okay. Angle 3 is corresponding with 7. Angle 4 is corresponding with angle 8. Now that covers all of them. If I were to go to angle 5, I've already got it listed with angle 1. Alternate exterior angles. When parallel lines are cut by a transversal, alternate exterior angles are congruent. I left that out. So let's talk about those pairs. Angle 1 is congruent to which angle? They're on the same side. They got to be on alternate sides. And angle 2 is congruent to angle 7. Okay, so let's recap. Same side interior angles are supplementary. All the other types are congruent. Alternate interior angles are congruent, corresponding angles are congruent, and alternate exterior angles are congruent. That happens because these lines are parallel. Would y'all put these wings on there? Those are the wings that indicate that the lines are parallel. There's 2 lessons in this textbook that talk about this same concept. The first lesson says, hey, I'm going to tell you these lines are parallel. You go back through and you pick out these angle pairs and you tell me missing angle measures. The second lesson says, figure out what the angles have to be in order for the lines to be parallel. So the concepts just run right there together. So we're going to do them simultaneously. Okay, so we've got that page figured out. Now let's go to this handout. Parallel lines. Our notes going here. Parallel lines are in the same plane, but do not touch. Okay? They are always the same distance apart, like railroad tracks. The 2 rails that run to create railroad tracks are the same distance apart. What would happen if there was a section where they were further apart or closer together? What would happen to the train? It'd fall off the track. It wouldn't be good. That's why they're the same distance apart all the way through. A transversal is a line that intersects 2 or more lines. Okay, it's usually called teeth. Now in both of these pictures, you see they've got the little wings on the lines indicating that they're parallel. Congruent, 2 angles are congruent if they have the same measure. And so I want you to put a picture of congruent. I think y'all know what congruent means at this point. Supplementary angles, just so we know, supplementary angles have to add up to be what? So let's illustrate that with this little picture. Let's put a 40-degree angle in here. And what's the other one have to be? 140. What about complementary angles? Some of the measures is 90, and they have it illustrated. Corresponding angles. It says when 2 lines are intersected by transversal, angles that are on the same side in the same position. Let's put down they have to be in the same position. I think that satisfies. I think y'all will remember what they're talking about there. Y'all have any questions on this? Was there anything on here you didn't know before we started filling it out? Maybe transversal was something we hadn't discussed a whole lot. Okay, so let's look at this practice page. Identify all the numbered angles that are congruent in a given picture. Justify your answers. So, they tell you one of the angle measures, right? That's 43 degrees. Tell me something you know about this picture. Do you know any other angle in the entire picture? Now let's look. These little wings indicate that these lines are parallel. So if the lines are parallel, this little list we had right here, all of this stuff is happening if the lines are parallel. If the lines are not parallel, this stuff doesn't happen. But most of the problems you see in geometry, they're going to be parallel. So tell me the measure of angle 1 in this picture. Okay, how did you come up with 137 degrees? Okay, so you use the fact that those two angles were supplementary, right? Everybody agree with that? Find the measure of angle 2. This is angle 2, and this is angle 43. It is. The measure of angle 2 is 43. Tell me why. Yes, because it's a vertical angle. What about the measure of angle 3? Why is it 137? Which okay, tell me which one is vertical with. It's vertical with angle 1. She could have said because it's supplementary to angle 43, right? Okay, what about angle 4? We don't know anything about any of these from the second set. So you're going to have to rely on this stuff to help you figure out angle 4. Okay, tell me why. Yes, it's corresponding with angle 1. Okay, so I'm going to write it in there. What about angle 5? Why is it 43? It's supplementary to angle 4. What about angle 6? Why? It's supplementary to angle 4. What about angle 7? (137) because it is. Now I'm going to take a highlighter. I'm going to highlight the angles that are 137. Okay, there are 4 angles in that picture that are congruent, that are highlighted. Now, the ones that are not highlighted make up another set of congruent angles, right? All right, let's move over and do number 2. The measure of angle, what is the first one you want to identify? You see that 148, what's the first thing that you notice when you see that? That is angle 8, yeah. So is there any other angle that you know the measure of when you see that? 6 is the first one you want to go to, and you want to tell me that it's 148 because why? It's vertical angles. What's the next thing that you think about? What do you think about then? They're supplementary. So the measure of angle 5 is 32, and the measure of angle 7 is 32. Now we have to transfer something down to the other set of angles. You might want to turn your paper if you want to see it like we've been introduced to it. But pick an angle out from the second set that corresponds to one from the first set. Or you could pick an alternate interior group or same side, interior, supplementary. Use any of those reasons. So tell me what you're thinking about this second set. 4 is 148. Okay, tell me your justification corresponding to this angle, angle 8. Okay? Tell me another piece of information. Okay, they're alternate exterior angles, so it's 32. Okay, keep going. Okay, keep going. Okay. Let's move down and do number 3. What do you think about number 3? It's not exactly the same picture we've been looking at. What should we do? What do you notice? Anything? I'm going to just extend this little line. It's not there, but it could be if I drew it in, but you don't really need that to answer this set. Okay, because they are supplementary. Okay, keep going. Good. Three and one right here. Yes. Yes. They're vertical though. The word is vertical. Yes. Angle 2. Okay, tell me why. Okay. What are you going to do about 4 and 5? Which one of those are you going to identify first? Okay. Tell me why on both. Doesn't matter. Both of you probably are exactly right. I just need to know why. Okay. Tell me about 5, Lauren. Alternate exterior. Okay. Right. Now look at number 4. What do you have going on in number 4? Parallel lines cut by parallel transversals. You see that? Oh, I don't know. Are they? Okay. So tell me what else you think. Keep thinking. You're trying to get to what number? Oh, okay. So if this is 75, then you're telling me this is 75, right? Because they're vertical. Yes? That's perfectly correct. Now let's talk about the other angles in the picture. Why? Why? Okay. Go back and read what supplementary says. Which one are they? Complementary or supplementary? Let's get it straight. They can't be both. What's complementary mean? That's right. But numerically speaking, there's something to. It's 90. Okay. How do you know it's a 90-degree angle? But they said that one's 75. Your brain sees a square and goes, there's got to be a 90-degree angle in here somewhere, right? You look at that, and the first thing you think is, she's pulled a square out. It's not the case. Geometry, no. There's nothing, 90 doesn't have anything to do with this problem. They almost are, but if that one's 75, what'd you say? 105. Why? Why 105? Because it's, why is it, how do you know it's supplementary? Let's just focus on that. Let's just look at that picture. That's what you're talking about, right? Okay. So this is 75 degrees. And you knew that right off the bat because of vertical angles, right? Okay. So think your way through the rest of that. So what would this one be? Right? Okay. What do you mean they'd be the same? Okay. Y'all agree? Then what happens when I do this? Is there anything at all identified over there? No. Well, then I must be looking at the wrong stuff. So let me do this. Does that help us? How does that help us? You might have to turn it around a little bit. If this one's 75, which one? Yes. See, okay, look here. Do you see that this line and this line are both parallel? They both have those little wings down here at the bottom. Then they're parallel lines cut by transversal, and the same situation happens that's been happening all day. So this little angle right here, that's 75 degrees, you need to make a connection with one of those from that group. Okay, what do you want to say about 2? Tell me why. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so now that you've got one of those angles, you can kind of go around the block, answering all of them. What would they be? Okay. Okay. And then you can turn your paper and cover that up and use those here, right? Okay. So I want you to circle number 4 because you're going to finish that one for me. You're going to do 5, 6, and 7, and 8. I think there's another. And 14. And then save the proof stuff and the trapezoid stuff. We'll talk about that together. Okay? Yes. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. and 14.